Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Airsoft, where today I'm going to do a takedown on this Cm.098A. Hi guys, and welcome back. If you do enjoy my content today, or you do find it helpful or enjoy it at all, please do consider liking and subscribing. It is completely free and it really helps me out. That said, we're going to get started. So today I've got the brand new Cm.098A E-Edition SR-25 AR-10, whatever you want to know it as. And this is one of the brand new rifles from Cyma, and I wanted to do a takedown. A lot of people have asked to see the internals. Now I'm guessing largely it'll be similar to the 97, but obviously let's find out for certain just what's going off in here. So made sure that the battery's gone, and just to check that, no battery in there. I'll fully extend the stock, lay that down, there goes the stock. Pull the wiring out. Now, to get the stock tube off, because of the quick change spring system, we're going to remove this this ring at the back here, castle knot, and because I'm still in the middle of a house move, I can't find my armorer's wrench still, so I'm just going to use needle nose pliers because I know that will work. We'll need some force. Obviously it will be better with like an armorer's wrench, so I'm just going to loosen that off, and that should allow me to quarter twist, and that comes out of the way, and I'll get the metal sling plate out of the way as well. So the wiring is not quite the same wiring, it's the traditional style slimmer thin plastic coated wiring. The quick change spring system is exactly the same. So I'm just going to get a flathead screwdriver in there, and it just nice and easily unwinds. You could also use, instead of using a flathead, you could actually use a hex key in there. By the looks of it, it looks like it'll take a Allen key or a hex key. So far so good. Whoops, daisy. That is identical to the M4 variant, the 97. So it is metal spring guide with a bearing on the bottom and threaded with a rubber O-ring on the back. Now these bodies should take a standard SR-25 type gearbox. Because of the inner workings and everything, I would assume it's a safe bet. You just won't be inserting this back into it. So we're going to take the upper receiver off now, so I'm just going to push that pin partially through, and just like the 97, the bolt is on a pin. I do like it when they do this because it just helps out, and I'm just going to slowly slide that out. Have a look. So they've gone for a different hop unit style here. They've gone obviously with a large O-ring. I'm not sure why they didn't use an M4 style one. It's still, I suppose, an M4 style one. But I do find that it feels a little bit nice, and there's an authoritative click to it. It feels nice and solid. I don't feel like it's going anywhere, and worked perfect in the few games that I used it in. The barrel itself is absolutely spotlessly clean. It does look better quality than their standard brass that they manufacture, nicely fluted out on the end there. It's a barrel, not much more I can say about it really, but it does look good quality. I am assured it's a 6.03 when I bought it from Taiwan Gun. Just to clarify, I'm definitely not sponsored, nobody sponsored me for this. I've bought this with my own money. So the front end, much like the 97, I've gone for the same style front end because I do like this M-lock style with the free flow. The barrel itself, there's very little movement other than when I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. There's definitely no wobble or anything when I was running around the woods with it. If you just undo the two grub screws, this will just rotate off, unscrew off, and slide off the front end, giving you access to your, gas block and everything. In fact, the gas block's probably going to have to come off first with the two grub screws there and take that out. Otherwise, you'll have issues where the front end unit won't actually unscrew because of the gas block being in the way. That said, we'll get that out of the way. Nice, rock solid. I do like the 762 mark in there. I like the angular shape on this one. Nice click on the dust cover there, and the charging handle works nicely. Now I'm guessing it does feature the same lock back, so when you pull the dust cover back, the bolt release and the little catch here will lock the dust cover back, meaning that you can stay accessed to the hop unit and things. So you can probably tell already the gearbox is the longer style SR-25 type gearbox, which we pretty much knew anyway. I like the slightly different and ambidextrous selectors as well. They're quite a nice little touch. So we'll get down to this. We'll get the pistol grip off next. So we've just got 2 Phillips head screws in the bottom there. Just realised I've told you it'll accept version 2 gearboxes. No, it won't. It'll accept AR style gearbox, AR-10 SR-25 type gearboxes. Not standard version 2, because they're bigger and longer. But the 97 will take a standard gearbox, but in both cases you just won't be installing the quick change spring system. So the stock tube will still go on and tighten down perfectly. You just won't be inserting the system down there. Now it looks like the motor is absolutely identical. It does look like there's been some crimping there though. It does look like possibly rushed a little bit in the build, maybe, who knows. Obviously I'll be wary of that as I'm putting it back together. So that is the exact same motor, other than it doesn't say Cyma on it like the other one, but it does look virtually identical motor. Fairly standard cheap motor. Strong magnets in there. Yeah, strong magnets. So we'll get rid of the pistol grip now. And there's just 2 Phillips head screws down there. If you're not used to disassembling an AR type Airsoft gun, there are usually 2 screws, one in the bottom right here and one in the top left over here, and they secure the pistol grip to the gearbox. Some brands, I've seen GMP, have put all 4 gears in, but it's usually the standard is 2 that go in there. So that's out of the way. I've managed to keep the screws still in there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to knock this pin out of here to remove this so the gearbox can come out easily, but I'll just get this pin out this side. It looks like it's coming out that way. Excuse me while I tap this out. So the grips were on the right hand side of the receiver there. That's just up to the motor again. So we've got 1 pin and the mag catch to remove. That is quite a small little Torx. Hopefully, I've got one small enough. There's the mag catch, bog standard metal mag catch on there. So I'm going to have to figure out, should be able to get that out of there somehow. See if I can get the needle nose. So perfect. So I just put a really thin screwdriver down into this gap here and pushed it out, and then I just used my needle nose pliers to just nip the end and just pull the rest of it out. Now as I push this pin out at the back here, again this one's on a retaining pin. I love it when they do that, it makes life much easier. And this should now quite happily just lift out. Famous last words. Now I'm thinking I might have to. I bet there's a cam on the end of this. So I've got another Torx screwdriver, and I'm suspecting that there is, not on this side. So just be careful when you take these off, because there is the little tiny ball in there. Now that seems to have freed it up. So I've removed the fire selectors, which seem to be attached to the side of the gearbox. So I'm just going to steadily get all that out. So that's that gone out. So I did remove the fire selectors from the side of the gearbox. There goes the cog. That will be a pain to put back together. So let's just have a look. That's how that one's sat in. This is the fire selector side. Looks like it's potentially the same MOSFET in here. So that's fire on the standard left hand side, fire selector side. There's the cam from the other side that connects onto it. Which sits in there. So I would assume that sits in like that, so when it's unsafe it should look like that, and that'll screw back into that. So make sure you don't lose the little balls out of here. That's the other one, and the little springs, because otherwise your fire selector will not work properly. So I'm just going to move that out of the way for now, and that is cammed through to the other side. Hopefully I should be able to separate that off. So I'm just gently, ever so gently, just working a screwdriver in underneath it, just trying to, there we go, separate them out. So I've separated them, and now that is stuck underneath the selector pay, so that shouldn't go anywhere now. So kind of tidy around a little bit, and we'll get ready to disassemble the gearbox. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the camera down now to see this a little bit closer. Okay, and welcome back. So we're now going to open the gearbox up. I'm going to remove the little retaining clip there for the dust cover. I'm just going to carefully lift the screw. It looks pretty much, other than it being the SR-25 type gearbox, it looks identical to the gearbox from the 97. So hopefully all the components are as good quality. The fact that the piston and the air nozzle are the same colour plastic is a good sign as well. It means that they're using the same sort of quality components which you would expect from this enhanced edition. You know, having a MOSFET, tight ball barrel, high speed gear set in the 97. I do love that they finally started doing these SR-25s. I do love this one, and I am considering keeping this longer term because I like it so much. But my only issue is it's not got recoil, and I'm kind of addicted to the recoil, really. Right, I'll come back in a second once I've finished removing the rest of these screws and this little one down here. So we're now ready to split this bad boy. So I'm just going to carefully lift that up. Now, let's have a look. Things are looking pretty damn good quality. The greasing's probably some of the neatest greasing I've ever seen. The cylinder head is looking really nice. That's an aluminium, blue aluminium. Got a nice blue piston head in there, piston cylinder in there. It's a nice aluminium, blue aluminium piston head. Doesn't look like the compression's amazing in there. I can insert that all the way unimpeded, so that possibly needs to be looked at. And obviously if it wasn't solid before, it won't be with the air nozzle on. not to worry. Obviously they're still getting the kind of FPS out of it that I wanted anyway. So at the minute, that's not a big issue. Obviously, longer term, what I could look at doing is changing in the O-ring. That should up the air, well, sort the compression, the air seal on it, which will probably put the FPS up, which then might result in me needing to downgrade it and put in a downgrade spring. But I can sort that another time. So we've got there, just coming through there. That's the cam that's coming through from the fire selector side. It does look like, and it is, the MOSFET is identical by the looks of it. I will get the trigger out in a second and we'll have a look at it properly. So, gear set, nice standard Cyma gear set. I would say nothing overly mega special quality, but definitely rock solid. Carefully, because I don't want to lose the shims. It does look to be well shimmed as well, or there's at least some thought going into shimming. So we'll lift out the trigger. Now, the wiring's definitely not quite as nice a quality, the silver silicon coated. It does look like there's been a little bit of nipping here on the blue wire. I'll just point to that a bit more clearly. It does look like there's been a little bit of nip in there where the motors come in, and I can sort that out when I reassemble it after the end of this video. And the actual MOSFET itself will get out, but it looks, other than the wiring, to be identical to the one from the 97. Now there's no actual numbering on it like the one from the 97, but it does appear to be an identical MOSFET. Now I would have thought it's probably not programmable at all. It's just a standard MOSFET to just take the current, I suppose, from the battery direct to the motor, and this is more just obviously to free it up and cut down on the reduction. There is a few nips near and there, just where it looks like the wire's been compressed a tiny bit, but in general the MOSFET looks like it's solidly made. I'm quite impressed with that actually. So let's just focus on there. Fairly neat little thing. I am really pleased that Cyma have started doing this sort of thing, and I'm hoping it's going to be a regular occurrence. And I'm sure a lot of people, when I say this, will agree with me. Why haven't they done it in their AK series yet? Because I think a lot of people are crying out for this stuff in their AKs. You know, pre-upgraded with a high-speed motor, high-speed gear set, a tight bore barrel, and a MOSFET, and people will be extremely happy. You know, the fact that I can buy this, it's pre-upgraded, absolutely fantastic, thoroughly happy. It looks like it's solidly built, probably one of the better quality builds that they've ever done. And the fact that it's about £200-ish from Taiwan Gun, absolute bargain, means I've got no more upgrade costs, at least not for a while. The only thing at the minute that I'd probably look at doing is probably changing the O-ring on the piston head there, just to get the air seal going, then see where that leaves me FPS wise. At least it's a quick job to change springs out and things. If I was going to DMR it, a couple of different ways I could do it. I could just sink a screw into here to stop the actual selector going past single shot. That's one way of doing it. It leaves a tiny little hole obviously in your receiver, but means it's completely reversible. I could replace and modify the selector plate, and I could cut a hole into it so that it never actually engages with the cut-off lever, and it always keeps it in single shot. Or the third option is I can replace the MOSFET with something like a Titan, and I could program it to be single shot only, so you'd get the options of safe, single shot and single shot. So a few options there if I did want to DMR this. Not that many sites in the UK support the DMRs in general. The problem is for me is I don't have the patience to sit still long enough to do any form of DMR or sniping or anything like that. So they're just not my my choice. If I was going to run this, I'd just keep it as a standard AEG and run it like it was an assault rifle. So that concludes our takedown. I hope this has been useful. I hope you've seen what you wanted to see in here, and good value package. I'll be doing a review sometime in the future, just going over what I feel about it in general and summarising and everything. I hope I'll see you next time. Please do like and subscribe. See ya. Bye.